Hi everyone. Tonight we're diving into the icy depths of true Christmas horror stories. 3 stories so terrifying, they'll make you double-check your chimney for more than just Santa. So grab your eggnog, snuggle up under a blanket, and prepare to be spooked by the true stories that prove sometimes the scariest things come wrapped in tinsel. Story number 1. A fresh layer of snow blanketed Maple Creek, painting the town in a picture-perfect Christmas morning scene. Inside the cozy Miller cabin, however, the festive cheer felt thin and brittle. Jack, eyes heavy with a sleep he hadn't found, watched his wife, Sarah, arrange presents beneath the glittering tree. Their daughter, Lily, bounced on the sofa, her bright eyes barely containing the day's excitement. But Jack's heart wasn't in the celebration. A gnawing unease, born from a dream so vivid it felt like a memory, had followed him like a shadow since waking. In the dream, the snow outside had turned crimson, the presents under the tree pulsating with a malevolent red light. He dismissed it as holiday stress, but a prickling fear lingered beneath his forced smile. The morning unfolded with forced merriment. Lily tore through brightly wrapped packages, squealing with glee. Sarah, her eyes sparkling with maternal pride, filmed the chaos with her phone. Despite the facade, Jack kept scanning the snow outside, waiting for the first hint of crimson. The first sign came subtly. As Lily unwrapped a new doll, its porcelain face seemed to flicker, a flash of red in its lifeless eyes. Then, a faint scent, metallic and acrid, drifted through the air. Jack stumbled back, nausea rising in his throat. Sarah, noticing his pallor, dismissed it as the flu. But the whispers in the snow grew louder. The wind, swirling outside, seemed to hiss warnings through the window panes. Lily, playing with her new doll, started humming a discordant tune, her eyes reflecting a disturbing crimson glow. Jack's dream felt terrifyingly real now, the lines between nightmare and reality blurring. He tried to maintain composure, forcing a smile as he played a board game with Sarah. But his attention was drawn to the wrapped gifts, a sinister allure emanating from them. He felt compelled to tear them open, to unveil the horrors he knew lurked within. We continue the stories, but before that, please like this video, comment which story you liked, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more horror stories. The tipping point came as Sarah unwrapped a beautiful ruby necklace. As she held it up, the stone pulsed with a sickening brilliance, casting a crimson glow across the room. Lily, her eyes wide and vacant, shrieked, the doll in her hands shattering into a shower of porcelain shards and scarlet liquid. Panic erupted. Sarah screamed, throwing the cursed necklace across the room. Jack scooped up Lily, her small body trembling violently. The room around them seemed to warp, Christmas ornaments morphing into grotesque faces, the tinsel slithering like blood-stained worms. They fled the cabin, plunging into the snow-covered landscape. The whispers chased them, the wind shrieking warnings in their ears. The crimson snow, no longer a dream, stained their footprints, a trail of terror leading them deeper into the wintry nightmare. They stumbled upon a hidden clearing, an ancient pagan symbol etched into the frozen ground. In the center stood a towering fir tree, its branches heavy with unwrapped gifts, pulsing with the same horrifying crimson light. And there, beneath the tree, stood a figure cloaked in shadows, its eyes burning with malevolent glee. The figure, as they slowly realized, was not a monster, but a twisted version of Santa Claus. His jolly persona replaced by a cruel malice, his sack overflowing not with toys, but with nightmares and despair. This was the source of the Crimson Curse, the heart of their twisted Christmas. A desperate struggle ensued. Sarah, fueled by maternal ferocity, wielded a broken ornament like a makeshift dagger. Jack, his fear transmuted into rage, lunged at the nightmare Santa. Lily, despite her terror, began to sing, a pure, defiant Christmas carol that battled the discordant whispers of the crimson. The clearing shook with the clash of light and darkness. The scarlet snow ebbed back, revealing the pristine white beneath. The nightmare Santa crumbled, dissolving into a puff of red smoke. The tree shuddered, its crimson glow fading, the gifts morphing back into harmless packages. As dawn broke, painting the sky with a blush of hope, they huddled together, the echo of the Christmas carol still ringing in their ears. Maple Creek awoke to a normal Christmas morning, oblivious to the horrors they had faced. But for the Millers, Christmas would forever be a reminder of the battle they fought, the crimson whispers that stained their hearts, and the fragile line between nightmare and reality. Story number 2. Oliver gazed up at the towering spruce, its branches glistening with frost and fairy lights. It was Christmas Eve, and the snow-covered streets of Vermont shimmered under a moonless sky. His wife, Rebecca, placed a delicate glass ornament on the lowest bough, her breath puffing into the frigid air. "Just one more," she smiled, handing Oliver a silver star, its edges catching the flickering firelight from the living room window. He took the ornament, its cold metal sending a shiver down his spine. It felt strangely heavy, unlike any of the others. An inscription scrolled around its base. Lux Stellae Natalis, Latin for the light of the Christmas star. As Oliver hung the star, a gust of wind howled down the chimney, extinguishing the fire with a hiss. The shadows in the room seemed to writhe and stretch, taking on grotesque shapes in the dim moonlight. A shiver ran down Rebecca's spine. "Oliver," she whispered, "don't you feel it? It's cold." He shrugged, trying to mask his own unease. "Just the wind, darling. You know how Vermont gets in the winter." But the cold air seemed to emanate from the silver star, a gnawing chill that seeped into their bones. The flickering lights on the tree sputtered and died, plunging the room into an unsettling darkness. Oliver fumbled for a match, his heart pounding against his ribs. As the flames sputtered to life, casting dancing shadows on the walls, they saw it. The inscription on the silver star had changed. It was no longer in Latin, but a language they didn't recognize, symbols twisting and writhing like serpents. A low, guttural whisper drifted from the tree, sending a wave of nausea rolling through their stomachs. Rebecca turned to Oliver, her eyes wide with terror. "What is that?" He shook his head, his voice cracking. "I don't know, but we need to get rid of it." They carefully removed the star, wrapping it in a heavy cloth. The whispers intensified, slithering through the branches like unseen serpents. The ornaments, once cheerful and bright, now seemed to leer at them with malevolent eyes. They bundled the star in their car, the whispers still echoing in their ears. The drive to the nearest dumpster was a blur of fear and adrenaline. As they threw the star away, a chilling laugh reverberated from the darkness, chilling them to the core. Back home, the Christmas lights refused to turn on. The shadows, thicker and darker than ever, seemed to writhe and coalesce into grotesque shapes. The whispers had returned, louder now, forming words they understood in their hearts. Fear. Feed. Darkness. Panic seized them. They barricaded themselves in the living room, stuffing furniture against the doors and windows. But the whispers pressed against the barriers, a chorus of unseen horrors hungering for their fear. They huddled together on the couch, the cold from the silver star still clinging to them. Oliver held Rebecca close, her trembling sobs echoing in the darkness. In the flickering candlelight, he saw it again. On the wall, etched in frost, the same twisting symbols from the star. As he watched, they pulsed with a malevolent light, spreading like malignant vines across the walls. The Christmas Eve they dreamed of had become a nightmarish tableau. The once cozy warmth of their home was replaced by a seeping, bone-chilling cold. The joyful Christmas carols on the radio had been replaced by static and whispers. As dawn broke, pale and watery, they ventured outside. The snow, once pristine, was now stained with an inky blackness. The Christmas lights on the houses around them had all gone dark, replaced by the same frost-etched symbols crawling across windows and doors. The whispers became a cacophony, screaming for release, for fear. Oliver knew then that the silver star wasn't an ornament, but a key. It had unlocked something ancient and terrible, a darkness that fed on Christmas cheer and turned joy into despair. Armed with salvaged candles and makeshift weapons, they knew they had to fight. They had to destroy the source of the darkness before it consumed them and everything they loved. Following the trail of black snow and frost-etched symbols, they reached the abandoned church on the hill. An unsettling chill emanated from within, drawing them like moths to a flame. Inside, the pews were draped in cobwebs, the altar desecrated with the same writhing symbols. In the center, beneath a stained glass window depicting Story number 3. The flickering gaslight cast dancing shadows on the walls of Betty Marie's grand Victorian home, transforming the festive Christmas decor into grotesque marionettes. Laughter and the clinking of glasses echoed through the rooms, celebrating the annual Miller family Christmas Eve gathering. Betty Marie, resplendent in crimson velvet, held court at the head of the table, a warm smile masking the gnawing unease in her heart. This year, the holiday cheer felt forced, tainted by the recent arrival of her enigmatic cousin Alistair. Alistair, with his unsettling charm and icy blue eyes, seemed to drain the warmth from the room like a spectral gust. Betty Marie couldn't shake the feeling he wasn't just there for the mulled cider and roasted chestnuts. As the night deepened and the carols morphed into drunken sing-alongs, Alistair's eyes scanned the room, lingering on Betty Marie's younger sister, Sarah. Sarah, radiant in emerald green, was the antithesis of Alistair, her laughter genuine, her warmth palpable. Betty Marie's unease blossomed into a prickly fear. Later, when the dancing commenced, Alistair approached Sarah, a predatory smile twisting his lips. He asked her to waltz, his words laced with a veiled threat, a challenge only Sarah seemed to understand. Their dance wasn't graceful, but a taut push and pull, a silent exchange of unspoken truths. Betty Marie watched, her hands clenching around her crystal wine goblet. It wasn't just the way Alistair danced, his movements eerily precise, almost inhuman, but the cold fire in his eyes as they met Sarah's, a flicker of shared secrets under the mistletoe. The revelry reached its peak as midnight neared. The air buzzed with drunken merriment, fueled by too much plum pudding and spiked eggnog. Betty Marie, however, found herself isolated, her gaze drawn to the mistletoe hanging by the grand staircase. Her unease amplified tenfold when she saw Sarah and Alistair disappear beneath it. A scream, sharp and sudden, ripped through the air, silencing the music and laughter. Guests spun around, faces etched with panic. Betty Marie's heart hammered against her ribs as she rushed towards the staircase. There, beneath the mistletoe, lay Sarah unmoving, a crimson stain blooming on her emerald dress. Alistair stood beside her, his face pale, a flicker of surprise momentarily replacing his cold indifference. Chaos erupted. Panic and accusations painted the air thick with suspicion. Alistair, with chilling composure, claimed innocence, his words slick and practiced. But suspicion clung to him like a shroud. Betty Marie, fueled by grief and a prickling intuition, refused to let Sarah's demise be written off as a tragic accident. She delved into Alistair's past, unearthing whispers of darkness, rumors of family secrets buried deep beneath the opulent veneer of his inheritance. As dawn draped the snow-covered town in a sickly gray, Betty Marie discovered a hidden room in Alistair's quarters, a macabre shrine dedicated to his lineage, each ancestor adorned with the same emerald necklace Sarah wore when she died. The realization hit her like a physical blow. Alistair wasn't just seeking Sarah's hand, he was fulfilling a twisted family ritual, harvesting life under the mistletoe to sustain his own. The Christmas celebrations turned into a grim investigation. Alistair, exposed and cornered, fled into the snow-laden night, but the authorities, alerted by Betty Marie, were hot on his heels. His reign of terror, disguised as holiday cheer, came to a chilling end. Christmas that year was bittersweet. Betty Marie and her family mourned Sarah, the ghost of her laughter forever echoing in the halls of their once joyful home. But amidst the grief, a spark of resilience burned. This Christmas, they remembered not just the tragedy, but the courage that unmasked the darkness, the love that defied a legacy of evil. The mistletoe still hangs by the grand staircase, a somber reminder of the night the carols turned into dirges. But now, instead of fear, it holds a different kind of memory, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a silent whisper of hope that even in the darkest nights, the light of love can prevail. Well, there you have it. 3 true horror stories of Christmas that'll stay with you long after the last carol has been sung. You never know what might be lurking just around the corner, waiting to turn your Christmas cheer into a chilling nightmare. But before you go, hit that subscribe button for more horror stories. And until next time, remember, the darkness doesn't take holidays. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.